Where Monsters Lie from Dark Horse Comics. It looks like the trade's not planned to come out until September, at least according to League of Comic Geeks. Of course, still keep your peepers popped, and we'll be letting you guys know if we see that pop up on our radar a little bit sooner. This is written by Kyle Starks, who honestly, right now, like you talk about how Daniel Krauss is someone who's like must read stuff if he's putting something out. Kyle Starks is entered that conversation for us as well because I Hate This Place is awesome. Peacemaker, the first issue of that, I called dibs on that one. Peacemaker Tries Hard, excuse me. That first issue was perfect. And then Where Monsters Lie. As you guys know by now, if you've been listening for long enough, because this started back in February, I called dibs on this. Honest to God, I called dibs on this after I saw the credits page. That's how fucking good this thing is. I didn't see an actual page of this issue. Once I saw the credits, I'm like, I'm in. I am all fucking in. I will get into that shortly. But I knew, and it was that fucking good. It lived up to the hype from start to finish, and I need more of it. Artist is Peter Kowalski, colors Vladimir Popov, and then letters by Joshua Reed. So to this point, this is a 4-issue series from Dark Horse. Again, started back in February. This should go on more. It may end where it was. And if it does, I will be disappointed because this series deserves to have more to it. At the same time, those 4 issues were absolutely kick-ass. And like, if we never hear from it again, like it'll always be one of the great indie titles that like deserved more. And it was so fucking good. The synopsis. Haven't you always wondered what slasher monsters, the masked home invasion family, the mindless, unkillable monster, the serial killer trapped in a doll, what they do for those couple of years in between their murder sprees? There's a Wilmhurst. They're at Wilmhurst, a gated community in the middle of nowhere where they relax or try to until they get the call to go out and kill again. I mean, I don't know how you don't get sucked in off of that title alone. I think that when we saw this in the solicit, we were interested too, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't even get a fucking chance, right? Because I remember you sent me a text, you know, books are up. So I hadn't even fucking like downloaded the books yet to be able to read before I get the dibs Where Monsters Lie. I was like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I don't do that often. I really don't. Like, we'll call it in the solicit as like a dart throw. Maybe, hey, we'll be right about this. We know the creators, the concept sounds really good, whatever. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we forget that we called the dibs. But I saw this right away. So again, I need more of this series. It's very clear how much I like this. And honestly, Joe, if you don't read this weekend, I'm gonna be a little insulted. Like it's that fucking good. So it starts off with a few kids running from a house in search of help after escaping the clutches of a madman, and then the help they find, it they didn't get any fucking help. Let's just put it that way. My God, and I could talk about it like it's what happens. But I just want you to go when you read this, Joe. I want you to enjoy it. But just all I need you to know is they don't really get that much help right after they escape this crazy house. Now the characters and why I was sucked in from the credits page, and also I know some titles they might have the credits page, after a few pages or something like that. For me, at least for the review copies that we got, it was main cover, credits page. I didn't see a single page of the story before I was like, I know I want to read this. I know I'm going to fucking love this. And I know I'm going to want dibs because the main page, yeah. So we see all the credits for like Kyle, friend of the show, Daniel Shaban is the editor on this series, all this stuff. But what's so cool is like, this is like a part of the world. We have it's a wanted sign, and it gives us all the important characters from the Wilmhurst community. So it's wanted. These people are extremely dangerous. Use caution and consider armed. And then you also have another note. If you have any information regarding their whereabouts, please contact us ASAP. So like we're in the story. I'm sucked in right away, and I don't have anything but the faces and names of a few of the key players from Wilmhurst. Who are these key players? So we got Zell, who's an old lady basically in charge of the Wilmhurst community. there's Puzzle Man. He's the guy that lets those kids end up escaping his place. And it's funny too because some of these characters now, I watch some horror stuff, but I am not like hashtag dork or Rossi, who's been in it from the 80s. I wasn't even born back then. But some of
Right.
these like the slasher films, not like my thing. Like we just reviewed on Change My Mind, The Preacher's Exorcist. That's kind of more my shit. So some of these characters I still know, like I've seen some Jason movies. But anyways, you guys are gonna know, like if you like horror stuff, you're gonna appreciate this. So Puzzle Man, you can kind of figure out who they're going for there. Frankie and Pearl, another one that you can figure out what they're going with Frankie specifically because they are a married couple, and I use air quotes because Frankie is a ventriloquist doll.
Yeah.
So
Out. Fuck. Nope. Good.
you're gonna. You, I don't know if you need to read this with the lights on or not. You might need to. I'm actually very curious if you feel that way when you read this because it's a blend of comedy and horror. And there's there's a couple of I don't want to say jump scares because I feel like comics give me more like chilling moments than jump scares necessarily when it comes to horror stuff. But
How's the art? Is the art style on the macabre side?
I wouldn't say it's on the macabre side. No,
Okay.
it's like it does a good job of, and I was gonna get that, but thank you for asking. It's like got a grittiness to it. And then like there is like because some of the designs of the characters is a little bit goofy and out there because you have Richard. It's just his name's Richard. He's a clown, but he's like a freaky looking clown. But he's not like a sink looking clown
Okay.
necessarily.
I was about to say.
Yeah,
Sync was my okay.
Sink because obviously they're just those are next level clowns, but he does look like the old whatever that old play is about that sad clown. Like
Oh, he's
yeah, Pagliacci.
Pagliacci.
Pagliacci. Okay, yeah. So he looks kind of like that from my memory at least. Then we
Yep.
also have Fuckmaster. And I was trying to think about as I was taking notes, I went back to the first issue and everything. I was like, what exactly is his deal in all this? He honestly he's just kind of a weird dude. And it's funny because in the first issue too, we have one of the characters like they're having this Wilmhurst meeting because of some stuff that transpired, and one of the characters is sitting next to Fuckmaster and is like, do I have to sit next to this guy every damn time? Like, because he creeps me out. Like one of the other horror characters is bothered by him, and the character
That's
who's leading the
tremendous.
meeting is like, no, I tell you every time we don't have assigned seating. You don't have to sit next to him. Like it. So that's Kyle Starks. Like he is
Yeah.
so funny, and I love him. Like how he's like him with horror too, because obviously with Where Monsters Lie we get that as well. So it's a nice. He's in the zone right now, and definitely someone we got to keep like looking at stuff, and maybe we got to try and get on the show at some point. Then we have Pack Rat, who, at least from my memory, a character who I didn't leave as much of an impression, but he does have the Hannibal Lecter looking mask. Then there's Saint Julian, and when you talk about like comps to like horror characters that we know, at least for me, doesn't ring a bell. But his thing is he's kind of big into knives. Seems to be one of the characters who's less like insane, I guess if that's a fair way to put it. And then there's there are other characters who kind of enter a little bit later on, but then there's also Daniel Dawson to round out the wanted page. He is like a Leatherhead, Jason, Michael Myers type, this big fucking like gigantic dude that's going to overpower you, and he's referred to as a shape. And I don't want to say more than what that means, but you'll hear about that in the first issue, and it's very interesting, and it turns into something that is interesting. I could use another word, but I'm not going to right now. But Daniel Dawson rounds things out. Another member of the Wilmhurst community is Wyatt, who is again among the group, but not listed among the wanted. We have Linus, who is the one kid who successfully escapes that house that we see some kids escaping from in the first few pages, like the first page of the first issue. And then there's Special Agent Connor Hayes, who has been hunting some of these maniacs for a long time. There's more about him in the synopsis, but you don't need to know more than this guy's been interested in these individuals for a long time. And also, like, we know about Wilmhurst going in, but no one in this world knows what the fuck Wilmhurst is other than the people that live there. So it is a very well kept secret in all this. So, and if look, I know our listeners are all comic book readers. But if you like horror, so if you like horror comics, absolutely check this out because this is if you have an understanding of like horror movies and stuff like that, which I assume you would, it's funny. Like it's a good spin on this stuff. It's a good poking at it. But it's like the person Kyle writing this, I got to imagine he appreciates these horror movies in some capacity because he has a good feel for them. If you know someone who likes horror movies, has an appreciation for the slashers and stuff like that, but maybe doesn't read comics, this is absolutely a comic to hand them, especially when the trade comes out and say, check this out. You are going to be into this. This is up your alley. I know you don't like comics, but it's funny and it plays off this well. I would love to see this turn into a show. Like there's only 4 issues, but I feel like that's the kind of potential that is there for this. Could it be turned into a movie? Absolutely. But I feel like things would be maybe a little rushed. But again, it's only 4 issues, so there's a lot of room. Again, this could go longer. I hope it does. I'll be a little pissed, honestly, if it doesn't. So everybody else pick up these issues that if they're lingering out there, or find a way to get the trade. But yeah, Where Monsters Lie, Joe, absolutely a must-read series.
That sounds fantastic, and it sounds like it'd be a great TV show because you could really let your imagination run wild. Each season could revolve around, or each episode, different
Sure.
kids trying to escape, and then you get into the nitty gritty of some of these characters' lives. But
In the
that,
end, man, I'm like, it can end right there, but there's just a whole nother fucking ball of wax that's opened up at the end of the 4th issue.
yeah,
I
I
can't even
gotta
touch
I
on
gotta
it.
read this.
You do.
Because I forgot what it was about, and then you called dibs, and then so I just
Oh,
didn't look into it. Didn't dig any deeper. But this
smart
sounds
man.
right up my alley.
Oh God, it really is. And I think it's something. Again, if anybody that likes horror in any capacity, recommend Where Monsters Lie. You don't even need to read it. Like I am that confident that they are going to like this.